I don't hate him, but I just don't think he's that good.
What do?
I need an attorney, and I need one now.
In Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com. Mike and Jay. Shalom, Big E. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm quite well. Thank you for having me back.
Are you?
Yeah.
If I nod off, just take it. You got this, dude. You've done this long enough now. You got this.
Yeah, we're starting a little earlier than we normally do.
Little?
Yeah, but it'll work. It'll work.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't know what to do. We're going through some things, and then it was like, let's just watch the Super Bowl and then come in bright and early and do a show. And now here we are, bright and early, doing a show.
It looked good on paper, didn't it?
It sure did. It sounded good. No, you guys knock out of here. Get out of here.
Enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game,
Be with
boys.
your families.
Sit with your boys and the little tiny girl. I watch the game. It'll be so much fun. I'll do this. I'll sit with Beth. E will sit with Tony, and it'll be great.
We'll reconvene at 4:30 a.m.
Sure.
It'll be fine.
I thought for sure you guys are going to walk in and be like, just like shaking me in bed. I set alarms, and I woke up like every hour of the night. Just like, don't oversleep. Don't oversleep. You used to do this all the time. This is easy. You got this. No problem. Anyway, what a game, man.
It's a hell of a game.
What a Super Bowl. Congratulations.
2 fun ones in a row, man.
Yeah, you don't usually see that.
As we were growing up, it was kind of a joke, The Super Bowl was like, shit, NFC's just going to crush them.
That's right. The NFC had that run of like 15 years or something.
It just seemed like never a good game, and man, those last two.
Yeah, amazing. And just weird, too. I mean, have you ever seen somebody like missed extra points and chip shot field goals in your life?
Just up and down the field. It just seemed like high energy, just the whole time. I mean, it was great for the sport, honestly. I mean, the NFL needed a game like that.
Totally. On the biggest stage with the whole world watching, however many billions of people watch that damn game.
Just seemed to be less penalties than normal. Just some really outstanding plays just up and down the field.
I think with 2 minutes left in the fourth, there was one punt that happened.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
No sacks until that final enormous play where Brady fumbled with 2 minutes to go.
Wasn't that a Michigan player that got it too?
It was.
It was like, wow, you think of the beginning of Brady's career, the tuck rule, Woodson stripped him, and then here at the end of his career, another Michigan player, I don't know, saw some connection there, but yeah, an amazing game. And while last year was a great game, last year looked like it was going to suck.
Yeah, it did.
You know what I mean? Like, it got great at the end.
It was amazing to watch the comeback, but this one from go, man, was
Yeah.
just high energy. And, dude, some balls plays by Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously.
Dude, 4th and 1.
Obviously, yeah, that play to the throwback
to Nick
to
Foles
for the touchdown was
incredible.
Biggest balls play ever in a Super Bowl. And then,
I mean,
just
honestly,
4th and
can you
1,
think of
just some really big moments in that game.
4th down on your side of the 50 before halftime,
Yeah.
I think was one of them. It's like, these are things you just don't. I mean, that's a team that was just going to lay it all out there. It was like, fuck it, we're not going to be, let Brady do his thing. We're going to take control of this game. And I tweeted like right out of the gate, first drive, it was like, well, doesn't look like the Eagles are intimidated by the big stage or Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell right away that Nick Foles was into that game and was going to be all right. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, man. It sure was.
Couple questionable calls, but those things happen.
You mean by the refs?
Yeah.
You talking about the touchdown?
The touchdown
Yeah.
where he arguably bobbled it and was out of bounds.
He bobbled it.
Yeah.
Oh, he bobbled it. Yeah.
I'm just shaking my head going, dude, you can't even tell what a damn catch is anymore. Mm-hmm. And then when they were talking about possibly overturning that Ertz one, bullshit. That guy totally became a runner and then dove to the end. That was an easy one. And they're like,
I was going to throw something through the TV
Yeah.
if they did that. It was like, that's worse than the Calvin call if they would have overturned that.
How big of a badass is that guy, by the way?
Oh, Ertz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Game-winning touchdown grab.
Yes.
Yeah. That one when you've got both announcers going, it's just, I'm sorry, it's not a touchdown. He bobbles it here. He clearly doesn't regain control and get 2 feet in, and then they don't overturn it.
And they're like, well, it was a close call. Dude.
Even Collinsworth, I think at one point was just like, I don't
give up
anymore. Yeah. And I don't blame him. I was reading you know how they do all the week or so leading up to the Super Bowl when everyone migrates to Minneapolis.
Sure.
And they're all doing their big press conferences. Well, they got Goodell at one of those, and they were talking about like going forward, what's on the docket for the off-season NFL
catch
meetings.
Rule. It better be.
Yeah, the first thing he said was, we have to figure out what is a catch.
It is absurd.
It is.
You're watching these games. Like, this is shown internationally, right?
Yeah.
And so, a lot of non-kind of football fans are watching it. If you're watching that, you're like, well, why wouldn't that be a touchdown? Or why, you're like, the guy dove in, and then, he dropped it after he dove in. Like, why wouldn't it? You know? And, well, if he becomes a runner, then it's just
that technical
fuck off.
Well, he technically became a runner right there. And then you see that slight movement of the ball there. It's like, dude, I've said it 1,000 times. We know what a catch looks like. You know what it looks like. When a guy catches a ball and it's like, boom, it's stuck. And he takes 1.5 steps and then gets lit up and it's fumbled. It's like, I understand, like, he didn't make a football move, whatever the hell, but he caught the ball.
It's just a weird game. We talked years ago about chipping the ball and gridding the field, and the notion that you can't even tell what a first down is, really. And these things mean so much.
They're
Those
huge.
3rd and 1s that, you keep possession or you lose possession. It means everything to the game. And the refs are just willy-nilly spotting it, really.
Yeah.
They do a really good job for the most part. But
yeah.
It's so ridiculous that you have this sport that so relies on the spot of the ball.
And one drive can one 1st and 10 versus 4th and inches can decide a whole game. And
sure.
You're right. You'll see a ref just like a receiver will toss the ball to him and he'll just kind of flip it over to a guy who just like sets it down.
Okay.
Like, all right. I guess that's where it's at. Yeah, it's funny, man. It really is, but
just a sport with a lot of unknowns and gray areas, but great game last night, man.
Yeah. And the problem too is we just didn't used to have the technology to be able to really, really dial in and see when these guys are wrong, because they do an amazing job, but they've got to do something more about some of these calls. I don't think the calls made that well. Yeah,
That
Clemens touchdown was pretty bad. I mean, as far as what we've been taught is a catch over the last couple of years, anyways. But the hype for the Super Bowl though is like that pregame. I mean, NBC's pregame starts at like 1.
Oh yeah,
and goes for 6 hours. And then I flipped over to NFL Network that started at like 9 in the morning. It's like you're covering 2 teams. What are you going to do for 12 hours before? It's just unreal, man. And I don't know. They did have one story that I thought was really good. You probably didn't see it, but it was the Doug Williams. Doug Williams, famous quarterback for the Buccaneers, I think, drafted him, and then he won a Super Bowl with the Redskins. He was the first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, and they did a piece on that. Like
How long have you been a black quarterback? That was famously the stupidest question of the Super Bowl hype.
Who asked that?
I don't know.
How long have you? Yeah.
He's like,
Well, basically my whole life. No, but it was a really, sad story, but a great story, and how Doug Williams and Coach Gibbs are still tight after all these years, and how when he was drafted, like, you just wouldn't take a black quarterback that early, and
so nuts to
it's
think.
Insane, dude. It's just insane. And they're talking about how Gibbs went, and they were just like, fine. He was like a offensive coordinator or something in Tampa at the time. And so they're like, yeah, go find the best quarterback. We need a quarterback. And so he goes and scouts and scouts and scouts. And Doug Williams is in the conversation, and he ends up meeting with Doug for a couple days, at his college or wherever. And he comes back to his team, and he's like, look, you want the best quarterback, Doug Williams. I know he's black, but he's the best quarterback. And so they draft him, and I'm just like, that's just the thought of having that conversation. I know he's black, but... And you remember back then, it's like, wow, does a black guy have enough smarts? Is he smart enough to be a quarterback?
Unreal.
And so they finished that segment. It's a great segment and all that. And then they've got Tony Dungy on the set. And, he started crying the first time he saw that piece and was like, you just don't understand how important that was for Doug Williams to get drafted in the first round and then win a Super Bowl.
Have success, yeah.
and open those doors. And he's like, Tony Dungy became the first black head coach to win a Super Bowl with the Colts. But he was saying, the year before Doug Williams was drafted, I played against Warren Moon. I was a quarterback at Minnesota. I led the Big Ten in passing. Warren Moon was the MVP of
Washington.
Washington, MVP of the Rose Bowl. And neither of us were drafted.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Dude,
and Moon had an undeniable gun, man. Oh. That guy was a slinger.
Outside of Randall Cunningham, did anyone have a prettier throw than Warren Moon? Like that
that era.
That rocket. Elway, you could put Elway up there. But he's like, yeah, they asked me to switch to DB. And Tony Dungy goes on to have a good career as a defensive back. Never gets a sniff as a quarterback.
And Moon started in the CFL, right?
He has to go to Canada and put up Hall of Fame numbers in Canada before getting a shot with the Oilers.
Had he started in the NFL, his stats would just be 30% higher because he wasted away in Canada just chucking touchdowns everywhere.
Totally. So anyway, I've got a pile of notes here. We can just kind of shuffle through some of them.
Sure. Before you get to that, Mike, our friends at DealsInTheD.com make buying or leasing your next new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV truly fun and exciting. When you choose Zot, you get the best prices, the largest inventories, foosball, fresh popcorn, some of the hottest sales staff you've ever seen, not to mention a world-class buying experience, coupled with the finest ownership experience possible. Take advantage of all of this at any of the 4 Deals in the D dealerships.
I got to be honest with you, man. I struggle with the commercials.
Dude, the commercials, I jotted down a lot of notes as well. I thought there were a lot of movie commercials this time, which we'll start out with a good one, Solo.
Yeah.
How sweet did that look?
Awesome.
The Star Wars-based Han Solo movie that's coming out, I think, this summer, right?
Yes, yep.
Dude, some of the emotional bullshit commercials drive me crazy. They drive me fucking crazy.
Are they not the worst?
T-Mobile. Are
Dude,
you
that
now
was
preaching
bullshit.
diversity with using babies?
Dude.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh, T-Mobile. You are so socially conscious. Thank you for that.
No.
Thank you for teaching us.
Mine, I love.
It's so condescending, man.
It is. It's pathetic. It's going
all
for
get along.
It's going for the weakest. Just that heartstring moment, and half the time you don't know what it, like. I'm watching this thing, and they've got.
Look at that poops! Those little babies. They was cute.
All of them, but the one that was killing me too was here's an athlete with no legs slaloming down the, and it's like,
frankly, arguably is an advantage as a skier. Come on,
to have fake legs that you can do anything
Sure.
with. Yeah, and it's like this whole Paralympics push.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this, an NBC commercial for the Paralympics? No, it's a Toyota ad for some reason. What?
I know.
What the fuck does Toyota have to do with a bunch of Paralympic athletes?
They're showing us how sympathetic and socially conscious they are.
Before we came on, I started going through my notes, and I'm like, oh, my God, it's every other one.
I know. I highlighted them, too. Ram with its MLK service-oriented type thing.
Yeah.
What the hell?
If you just throw up a quote from MLK, home run.
Golden. How about Budweiser? You assholes and their water shipment. They show the guy getting up, he gets a call. Oh my gosh, we got to act on this.
Emergency.
He goes in, they fill all the cans with water. I mean, it's just, fuck you, man.
How about, I thought this was a setup for a joke. A Jew, a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist ride together as if we're all one team.
Never happened.
No. That car would blow up before it got a block down the road.
One of them would be strapped with a bomb for sure. I'm not going to say which. I'm not going to judge.
Muslim, Jew, Christian, Buddhist. We're all one. U.S. Olympics. What?
Yeah. Hyundai.
That one bugged me the most for some
line.
reason because it's like, dude, how can you ever
to meet cancer survivors, right?
Right.
Like, if I bought a fucking Hyundai and I had tickets to the Super Bowl and I got through security and they went, sorry, sir, you're going to have to come with me, and drag me into another room to have some monitor show me some horrible cancer story, I'd be fucking livid. I'd be like, I'm returning my Hyundai. Why would you do this to me?
I know.
I'm here for the Super Bowl. Now I have to meet this family, and they're going to thank me because I bought a Hyundai and you gave $10 to cancer research?
It's brutal.
Stop it, people.
Did it seem like more this year, these sappy emotional things?
Yes.
Okay.
It must be that they've done research over the last few years and found that puppies work, and they found that these heartstrings ones work.
Well,
and
if you
so
think about
everybody's trying to follow suit.
Well, there's a million women. There's millions of women watching, and so they're trying to tug at that as well. And also, Mike, don't forget the Trump factor.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we all need
together.
to heal. We all need to heal.
Well, if you think about it, humor, now it's almost been proven that humor, they're going to do something they think is funny, and then it's going to be insulting. On some level, it's going to offend somebody.
True.
But if you do a heartstring thing, no one can get offended by someone saying, "Hey, man, we're socially conscious."
Yeah, the efforts at humor I thought fell flat. Like the Budweiser, that knight, and the medieval army. Like,
terrible,
dude. I couldn't even watch it. I don't even know what the point was.
So stupid.
Was it?
I thought the Amazon Alexa was pretty good, though.
Losing her voice.
Yeah, lost her voice,
Yeah.
and so then you get Anthony Hopkins at the end feeding a peacock.
Yeah.
Badass, as only Anthony Hopkins can do.
Yeah.
Cardi B in that. You had
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, Rebel Wilson.
Gordon Ramsay's a dick right out of the gate.
How do I make a grilled cheese? It's in the goddamn title!
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I thought the one with about it might have been the NFL that put it on about touchdown celebrations with Eli Manning and Odell Beckham.
Yes, that was cool.
Doing Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, Dirty Dancing. However, the juxtaposition of his brother Eli, of Peyton. Why is Peyton still such a fucking Gomer?
Yeah.
Such a damn hayseed. I mean, Eli at least has lost some of the accent and seems more fucking...
Yeah, that is weird that he...
Like, how... I get it. Like, Eli lives part of the year at least in New York.
Yeah, that probably has something to do with it.
But still, dude, fucking Peyton was in Denver and Indianapolis. It's not like he's, down south in Alabama or some shit.
He just just that Gomer. Peyton golly gee.
just Peyton man.
Oh, golly gee Willikers.
God, man, I can't stand that guy.
Yeah. Was there anything else? Halftime show.
Hold on. Spam.
Oh,
really?
Dude, I actually wrote, Spam's trying to make a comeback.
Spam?
Really? Spam?
Dude.
Spam ponied up, what, $5 million to run an ad to be cool again?
I saw it twice, like back to back. They did Spam, then another commercial, and Spam again. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the one where they made chunks for the omelet or something, whatever that was they were making in the end.
How about the local ad of Mike Morse getting yanked at the beginning? Did you notice that? So I
saw Mike's ad, but I didn't
there's a couple local spots that obviously don't get broadcast nationally, so it's not like Mike Morse, the local attorney, was being broadcast nationally, but he was at a party like, all right, everybody gather around. It's in the third quarter here. Here it comes. And they began it sort of in the middle, and then they ended it before the end.
They didn't even say his name in that one, did they? Did his name even get in that?
He was busy telling a heartfelt story too, and how
was
he ambulance chases exactly for his clients.
Sure.
But then they did show it later in its entirety, so he got his money's worth, I guess.
I wonder what that cost to do that, because I know they've got a
local one.
Yeah, they've got a certain amount that they're able to sprinkle in. That you're exactly right. Only airs in our market, but Did you like Lionel Richie's All Night Long?
I mean, I love to see Lionel. Anytime we see him, we think of the clay hat, obviously.
Why won't he bring the clay out?
I don't know.
Imagine how good that spot would have been with the clay head behind him.
Yes,
just on display. Don't even reference it. Just the clay head back there, looking all soul glow.
Yeah, I didn't like the premise of that. You know, he wouldn't say all night long, but I like Lionel. So
yeah.
Pink, the national anthem. I thought she missed it, man. I love
she was sick.
I love the Pink.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, but I thought she missed a couple notes that were key.
I know she was sick,
okay.
And people are making a big deal. Like she had a lozenge that she took out of her mouth right before she started. Yeah. I was disappointed with Pink.
Seemed forgettable, sort of. I mean, it just wasn't a classic rendition.
To see not even a hint of titties on display bothered me. I don't know why, but she was so buttoned up to the neck.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? We're getting no titties out of Pink?
No, that didn't surprise me. I knew the Pink would be respectful in that situation.
I guess.
But Timberlake, my thoughts on that, it went, to me, it was perhaps the worst musical performance ever at a halftime show, but it was perhaps the best from a visual production standpoint.
It's a great way to put it.
It was badass how he was in the crowd and on the field and
a lot to learn, man. A lot to places, marks he had to hit, places he had to be.
That struck me too, man. There were a lot of moving pieces in that.
Yeah,
and not just him, but the marching bands, all the various dancers and shit. That was a production and a half.
And they got the whole city involved too. With the purple downtown when they turn the lights out or whatever. Goes purple and then Prince's symbol.
Yeah.
It was funny because, he's doing the interview circuit too to promote the Pepsi halftime show. And everybody keeps asking him, like, so you're in Minneapolis. I mean, Prince, died. So, and he's just like,
I told you they'd do it, dude.
I know, but it's like, what is he supposed to say? Yes, the kicker for my entire show is a great Prince tribute.
I would die for you, by the way. Like, what is he, a Christ-like figure or something?
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
It did say die in it, though, and he did die.
Yeah, good point.
So they had to do that. The kid taking the selfie with Justin in the crowd.
What a poor moment for that kid. Like, that kid could have launched himself as an icon, a social media icon.
I know.
He just looked all nervous. Gaunt little baby bird looking kid.
Yeah, Ryan. There's little Ryan.
I thought he really dropped the ball.
Well, here's what happened.
He actually looks Timberlakean, doesn't he?
He does look a bit Timberlakean.
Is it possible he's a relation?
I don't think so. But
don't you think he dropped the ball?
Well, here's the thing. You mean he was fumbling around?
Well, he just seemed.
Well, after the photo too. After the photo, he kind of just started staring into
the dude, get your groove on, man. Everybody's dancing around him. Justin's dancing. He's just standing there.
He's already a superstar, though. He's a meme. He's lucky as shit that Timberlake didn't just keep running up the stands. I mean,
especially given his crap reaction. Honestly, he didn't show much energy there. I really thought Justin should have moved on.
Yeah,
find a better kid.
Well, for the kid's part, he really pulled a Big E at first, and was given a second chance. He tried to take. He was recording it. Just video, and then all of a sudden Justin Timberlake comes running up his aisle.
So he wasn't in selfie mode.
And so no, he's not in selfie mode, so he tries to go to camera, and he powers his phone off.
That would be tremendously nerve-wracking. Think about that, trying to go from video to just selfie. Oh, just photo, and then turning around. Oh, my gosh.
And you don't know. Yeah. Do I have 2 seconds with this guy standing in front of me? Is it a minute? I don't know.
Yeah.
And so he fumbles, pulls a Big E, powers his phone down, and then he has to power it up. Imagine the seconds going by. That's why when he's looking at his phone and Timberlake's right here, and people are like, what the fuck are you looking at, kid? You got Justin Timberlake right next to you, and he's like, I'm trying to get my power back.
Come on, power. Come on. He's watching the little apple come up. And
then he's finally able to get his selfie, his dumb selfie. But, yeah, his dad was saying, like, yeah, we got tickets, and we're supposed to, we flew in this morning, and then we're flying out first thing in the morning, but he's already booked on Good Morning America.
He could have done so much better. I mean, this could have been a Courtney Cox dancing in the dark sort of situation. You know?
Could you imagine?
With the boss.
Dude, in the aisle, if he would have just got his groove on, just went for it.
Hell yes.
Yeah, he could have. He could have. He's already like, Yeah, everyone's telling me I'm all over Twitter. My phone won't stop ringing. He's all proud of his superstardom.
Sure.
And it's kind of badass though to be at the Super Bowl and
no, that's what was
have
cool
that
about
moment.
I thought the whole production was very interactive and in the crowds. And
what was up with his outfit, by the way? Did you notice he's wearing Jordans?
Yeah.
And then he's got a
Russell called out exactly the style of Jordan like right away.
Yeah,
he's
Russell
wearing whatever Jordans.
Yeah. But he had like the camouflage outfit on.
First he had camouflage pants, the shirt that he wore the whole time, but he had like frilly black jacket. Did you notice that? And then he ditched that and put on the matching camouflage. Who knows?
And then
he's got a
kerchief and a deer.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it was like, what the fuck? Like,
who knows?
I would expect something sparkly. You know what I mean?
That just proves you can wear whatever the fuck you want when you're in that position.
Totally.
Everybody goes, wow, look at that.
Can we be done with...
Big E walks down the street and that it's like, you fucking dork.
No, you're right, though. That's definitely the case.
There's going to be at Gander Mountain, there's going to be a run on these for sure. I mean, they are going to sell out of these
Cabela's.
things.
Yeah.
Bass, what's the Bass?
Bass Pro.
Bass Pro. Whoever's got these deer shirts, I mean, there's going to be a real run on those. Can we be done with Janet Jackson now, please?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
feel like we are.
We were until yesterday on Twitter all day long. It was trending all day. Janet Jackson Appreciation Day. Because obviously the reason she's not at this Super Bowl and her career was destroyed for the titty thing, but was because she's black probably and a woman, where Justin has flourished in his career, and now he gets the Super Bowl. So we need to reflect and take a moment and realize how fucked over Janet Jackson was. And so Janet Jackson
Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Yeah, right? Dude, and I'm like, you know what? Can you not look at it and go, since that first Super Bowl, he's released 5 #1 albums, or 3 #1 albums, 5 #1 singles, and she's released what? Fuck all. Nothing.
Yeah.
She hasn't been relevant since, what, 1992?
That's it right there. Just comparative relevance. You know, you may not like JT, but it's inarguable. He's relevant.
And all she had to do from the titty thing is 2 years later drop an amazing album. No one would care.
There you go.
No one would care.
There's an idea. What's she going to do? Go on and sing Black Cat?
Yeah. I mean, what was her last... I tried to look it up yesterday. She dropped something in 2015. I'd never heard of any of it.
No.
And so I was like, yeah, whatever. But,
dude, did you notice the Seek in back of Belichick in the final minutes?
There was a Seek?
There was a fucking Seek, man.
How did you know? Was he wearing like a
Oh,
turban
he was turbaned. Yeah.
Was he turbaned with like a Patriots logo on it?
I think it was blue, if I'm remembering correctly. It was the last couple minutes where they're showing, a concerned Belichick as they're talking about, and it was in a split screen, I think, with Peterson, and they're talking about the two coaches and how it's a chess game at this point, and then there's a damn Seek like right behind Belichick. I was very impressed. Surprised you didn't notice.
I didn't. That seems like something I would notice too. The thing that's going to be interesting from this, like, there's a lot of people talking about Tom Brady. I was shocked when I saw. I mean, he threw for what, 500 and some yards, 3 touchdowns. Had a great game.
Oh my God, incredible,
undeniable. But when they said 8 Super Bowls, 15 touchdowns, it's like, really? He's only had 15 touchdown passes outside of yesterday, obviously. So less than 2 TD passes a game. I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
And then people were pointing out, like, hey, just to be clear, like, he lost yesterday. If not for the Falcons' choke the year before, and if not for Malcolm Butler's incredible interception on the goal line, he'd be 0-5 in his last 5 Super Bowls. Which,
okay, I guess.
I mean, it's just interesting to think about. Like,
they've all been close games. You think about the Giants win. Eli's pass to what's his name, he catches it on his head.
Oh, Tyree, David Tyree.
That's stupid, man. Because if he'd won all, those are just
don't take it out on me.
Close games come down to 1 or 2 plays.
Right. That's the NFL. That's just how it goes.
Not when Joe Montana played.
Okay.
I'm kidding. He had close games too. No, I mean, you could argue that it makes it even better that in those total pressure moments he's able to get it done for the most part in a lot of those games. The other story that you're going to hear a lot about today is Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler's the one that had the interception
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl a couple years ago
Yes.
against Seattle.
Did not play. Or, no, he only played special teams
Yeah.
yesterday, right?
He started 17 of 18 games. He's, some say their best corner, some say their second best corner. He was an all-pro. He's going to be a free agent. And then not a snap on defense. They give up more.
What do?
They give up more yards than in the history of Super Bowl.
By the way, before we get into him specifically, Patricia coming to the Lions, how do you feel about that now?
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator of the Patriots just got gashed. Oh, there's your Lions head coach.
I know, and he got gashed by Jim Schwartz's offense on the other side.
Or
defense on the other side. There were a lot of people that said this defense for New England is suspect this year. This is going to be a tough, if they can make it to the Super Bowl with this defense, it'll be really, really impressive. So I don't know, man, but we always heard just wait till Matt Patricia dials something up. It's coming. You don't think of special plays that they're going to do in the Super Bowl, but yeah, I see him giving giving his interview afterwards, and it's just this bear of a man with this beard,
hat on backward, pencil in his ear.
He still has the pencil in his ear 2 hours after the game.
Yeah.
So
a bear of a man is it, man.
Yeah, he just is, dude. And I guess they're going to announce him as the Lions head coach, I don't know, in the next day or two. Yeah, I guess that's about it for the Super Bowl. Did you see the...
What about Kevin Hart?
Oh, yeah. Kevin Hart. Do you have a video of that?
I do.
Did you?
I did not see this. Jesus, you got this?
Kevin Hart is just a wisp of a man.
Oh, my God.
He's so wee. And, it's one of those where you've had a few cocktails and your team's doing well. I don't know which one you have up first.
I've got him babbling.
You've got him babbling with NFL Network?
Yeah.
Let's see. No. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's early.
We're very lucky to have this guy a part of this team. I've been drinking. I'm on cloud nine.
Celebration.
I started the celebration early, but you know what? Philadelphia is a great city. I hope this is an example of what we can do. We gave a fuck.
Kevin, I love you.
All right, he got to go.
He said fuck on national TV.
He got to go.
Yeah.
Listen, that's what it might be like in Philadelphia.
Oh, Deion's walking him away and he falls, right?
Yeah. Deion picks him up and sets the little man off the stage. I think Deion found him in the crowd and dragged him over there, which is always a good move. Do you have the one where he's trying to get on the stage?
Yeah, here we go. So it's the trophy presentation. There he is. Look at how he's trying to get by this enormous security guard. This guy's bigger than any football player out there.
Oh, that is so funny. I'm so glad that happened. If you missed it, and it's a brief clip, you can find it on the net, but they bring out that little stage afterwards, and all the players and stuff pile on there, and then they go, congratulations to Jeff Lurie, owner of the Eagles, Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
And then they give the trophy to him, and everyone's piled up there, and some players are holding their little babies, and they've all got their shirts on. Well, Kevin Hart, I mean, he's famous. And so obviously he deserves to be on the stage too. And so he just automatically assumes that he's going to make his way up to the platform and then what? Be an obnoxious drunk idiot on the stage? And as you said, there's just an enormous man who's having none of it. And while he's trying to argue with this guy, but I'm Kevin Hart, man, I'm famous. That's what
I was going to say. What could be his argument? His argument could only be, "Don't you know who I am?"
Yeah.
That is the only argument.
Because why else would he?
Who I am?
Why else should he be allowed up there?
And then you see guys with pads on and shit, kind of scooting by. Excuse me, Kevin. Got to get here where I belong.
Yeah. 6th-round draft choices are getting around him.
Getting up there. Yep. So funny, man.
Hey, everybody, check out the DetroitCast listener business page. It's a page under the Help the Show tab on our website, DetroitCast.com. Page includes businesses owned by listeners, so take a look. It'd be great to support the supporters of the show. This week's featured listing are Arnold Roofing. Free estimates, licensed, they're insured. They serve Southeast Michigan. They specialize in roofing and gutters. Their end game, customer satisfaction.
Well, that's a good end game.
Also, Dustin's Mowing and Grounds. I would say probably the mowing is out at this point, but snow and ice removal would be good. Serving Oakland and Livingston counties, they provide lawn, landscaping, snow and ice services for both commercial and residential customers, you will notice a difference with Dustin's.
Did they call off school today for your boys? I mean, it was snowing like all night.
They did.
They did.
Yeah. They did during the game. It's very suspect.
What a shock.
What did your kids, I mean, the dance that broke out in the living room.
Can you imagine, man?
No.
Can you imagine that Super Bowl Sunday?
Dude, that's just heaven sent. It really is. That's someone looking down at you going, you know what, kid? Enjoy the game. This one's on me. I mean, did the dance that broke out in your living room when that came across, when they figured that out, was it just impressive?
Yeah,
did the worm happen?
It was like the Peanuts dance, head in the air.
Linus and all over the living room. Oh, what a feeling. There's honestly no better feeling to get that unexpected day off and to get it not in the morning when you're supposed to.
I went to bed before them last night. I mean, they were still up watching shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sure why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, of course. Of course. We should mention, we haven't even talked about our weekend yet.
Oh, what a weekend.
Yeah, we had kind of a crazy weekend. Of course, Mike Massey was the pinnacle.
That was great, huh?
Yeah.
Hamlin gig went really well.
It sure did. I know you were feeling a bit under the weather.
I struck ill halfway through. I gotta apologize to anyone and everyone whose hand I shook because
anyone you kissed on the cheek or lips?
I didn't realize that I was sick at the time, but the next day, and I'm still trying to get through it. But dude, I felt like shit, and I bugged out of there. But I blame E because he definitely gave me this illness.
Well, E was the first one to come in here and declare, I don't feel all that
he's
good.
Sniffing, and he's wiping his nose with his hand and wiping it on his pants.
Like, I'm coughing all the time, but he doesn't cough.
Yeah.
And so for him to be, he was coughing like for a week. For a week straight. Remember that, E?
You do.
Remember your cough week?
Anybody who came out of Hamlin and are now getting sick, you're probably getting sick right about now.
Yeah.
Maybe yesterday afternoon, right before the Super Bowl, you got sick.
Yeah.
Maybe into today. Blame me. It's E's
well,
fault.
They're gonna initially go fucking Jay, and that's fine, that's warranted. But you got to remember where it started, and then the true blame goes to Big E. So
the source of all our illnesses, are Big E.
But it started even before that. On Friday, Rochester Limo, picked everyone up, and
that's fun. We headed downtown. Massey, Bryce, Marisa, and Big E and I went down to Hitsville, USA, the Motown Museum.
So jealous.
It was cool, man.
I want to go to that museum so bad.
I'm shocked that none of the three of us had been there.
I know.
Before this weekend.
I was talking to Beth about it last night. She's like, I know, I've been telling you, you have to. It's amazing. It's such a cool place. And I just couldn't make it. I had something going on in the morning. I met you guys later in the afternoon.
It was really cool. They had a really energetic little tour guide. I suspect she's usually there. Don't you, E? Don't you suspect she's probably the one?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But she did a good job. And I have to say, Big E took a knee.
Oh, no.
So, you end up in Studio A, which is this amazing garage where all this shit was recorded. Like, you go down the line and you think about... Aretha, Smokey Robinson, The Supremes, The Temptations, Jackson 5, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder.
Unbelievable.
And you're standing in this space, small space, about the size of this room, a little bigger, and you're just thinking like, holy shit, and they've got the mics hanging down still.
Wow.
They've got just this, they cut out the kitchen wall and put in glass with the engineers behind that.
Like back in the day they did that?
Yeah, back in the day. And
so is the original board there and stuff?
The original board, it looks like an old submarine or something. It's so simplistic compared to what's going on today, the reels and everything. But the floor is the same. You can see where the guys were stomping and stuff and just bore holes in the floor.
That's unreal.
Yeah, it was really cool. But at the end of it, she wanted us to sing a little stanza of My Girl.
Oh, hell yes.
Right? Who wouldn't? You're in studio. My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl, my girl. But E... the key was you had to do the dance too, double dig.
Duh, yeah, of course, yeah. Duh.
He takes a knee
on the singing or the digging?
Everybody's dancing; they're getting into it.
Did you guys record?
Massey's singing high harmony.
Oh, so he could have sung.
Dude, I'm not a good dancer. He's declaring as he's like doing this little wormy shuffle thing.
I almost didn't even move at all, but it would have been too
what is
noticeable.
That, E? Why do you get like? Why can you not go for it in that moment?
I don't know. I just
it's an ego thing. You think people are paying attention to you. They're
I
not.
know.
That's
I know.
what's
They're
awesome.
not.
They might laugh at me, but here he is. Like, he's the butt of every joke, right?
Right.
It's just I don't
Get
know. I don't know how
down,
to
E.
explain
Come
it.
on,
That's
double
just-
dig. Double dig.
Come on, E.
I'm just not. It's just something. I don't know. I just don't like.
Hopefully he never has to lead a Walmart cheer. That's all I'm
Oh, my
thinking.
God.
I mean, he would if they asked him to do the squiggly and he was like, dude, I don't squiggle well. I don't do it.
I will say that my question to the tour guide about whether Stevie Wonder is really blind or not did not go over well.
Ooh, well,
Yeah.
it's a sensitive subject. I mean, obviously he's got 20/20 as far as we're
I
concerned.
think her response included the term "child."
Did you tell her,
Child, where you hear that?
Did you give her the evidence? I mean,
I did.
We don't come without evidence to
Look,
make a claim like that.
there is a video out there. I said, this is a big thing on the web,
Yeah,
Miss
Bing
Tour
it.
Guide. Jump on there, Bing it. You will see Sir Paul walk by a mic stand. Said mic stand starts to fall, and Mr. Wonder reaches out and grabs it, catches it in mid-fall.
Yep.
She's like, he just has good senses. I'm like,
No. Blind
Miss
man
Tour
shouldn't be able to
Guide.
do that. Nope. Oh man. Yeah.
No, that was cool though. That was really good. I would recommend if you're heading downtown sometime soon.
So do they have like reel to reels and old like masters and stuff there, or
It's not. No,
because it seems dangerous as hell. I mean, that's just a house in Detroit. It looks
correct.
like.
So what you do is you go in and you sit in a little video area, and it's not like the most updated space. They could do a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's for the amount that you pay to get in there, you'd think it'd be a little bit.
Oh, really? What does it cost?
$15 each.
Yeah.
So you go in there and you watch maybe a 20-minute video, which is good. And then
Just give me a history.
yeah,
of the
Barry
music.
Gordy and all that stuff. And dude, the stuff they say, like there's Smokey Robinson going, yeah, Aretha lived a couple blocks down, so we get together at the park and sing. Like, are you?
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin and Smokey Robinson just happen
Yeah.
to live.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and the Funk Brothers is something that they touched on. That I know they've done documentaries about these guys, and they're getting their due finally. I think they were put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame not too long ago. But these are guys, they were just the house band, the session
Yeah.
players
Yeah.
who came in and played on everything. They've played on more hits than like the Beatles, Elvis, Michael Jackson combined.
And made like $2 per record.
That's what I was
I mean, sorry,
I know.
I didn't mean to take your punch.
No,
line
no.
there, but
The residuals that they'll never be
it's
known.
shameful.
It is.
It's shameful
It
when
is.
you look back at the history of music and it's like even the Zeppelin stuff where it's like so many of their hits are just blatant
Just ripped off from blues
rip-offs
artists.
from really old, poor, brilliant black musicians that never made shit.
Yeah.
And here these guys come in and steal their lyrics, steal the groove, everything, and make bazillions of dollars off it.
Yeah.
It's shameful. But yeah, a lot of those session musicians, you've heard that forever. Those guys just got screwed.
So you go out of the video area and you see you're then led into kind of a smallish area. Again, you're in a house, right? So you're
Yeah.
in like the upstairs of a house, and you see some things like Michael Jackson's hat and glove from the 25th anniversary.
You
dance.
got to be kidding me. The Motown 25th?
That's no question the biggest items there.
I can't believe that's there and
Yeah.
not in, I don't know, what's the famous...
The Smithsonian?
The Smithsonian, yeah, honestly.
Or the Rock and
hat-
Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Well, it just shows what the
hat
place
and
meant
glove.
to him,
Yeah.
He recorded there as the Jackson 5. That was one of the cooler parts of the tour was when she was describing the people, the contemporary artists who have come in there to kind of pay homage. Like she said, like, yeah, a couple months ago, Beyonce and Jay shut this place down and came through one afternoon. Usher stopped in a few months ago. Chris Cornell, the night he died, earlier in that day, he was standing in Studio
there.
A.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
those
all
guys
the
would
people-
all have respect for that. They
Paul
would-
McCartney redid the studio Steinway piano.
Really?
$200,000 he put into that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Still, that was such a... And Bing it. Go watch the video of Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk. It was the Motown 25th, right? Isn't that what it was?
I think so, yeah.
I think at the Apollo.
Yes.
Was it at the Apollo?
Yeah.
When he busts into that... Like, Michael Jackson was a great artist at the time. Dude, when he pulls his fucking pants up and then
And
starts...
did that moonwalk? Yeah.
It was like the place exploded. I remember watching
couldn't
that
believe
as
what
a
I was
kid.
seeing.
And it was just like
Like the next day
what?
at school, everybody's like, "Did you?
What?
He was like floating, you know?
How did he do that? And then every kid had to learn how to move. I mean, it was game changing. I know it sounds silly now because everyone does it, but nobody had done it before that.
Nobody
that you were aware of. And so to think of the glove and the hat in there, God, that's worth going alone.
Yep.
Very,
very
cool.
That was fun. As you said, we hit lunch with you.
I joined you guys at the
came out of your hutch and met us there. Yeah, Hopcat.
That place was good, man. I liked that place.
I liked it. Then we went to Third Man Records, Jack White's place, with the vinyl pressing factory there, which is kind of cool. It'd be good to take a tour back there. They weren't doing tours at the time, but that would be cool to see.
Yeah,
because it's one of just a few. I think one of two in the U.S. and just a few on the planet that are still pressing vinyl.
Yeah. He's into all that weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Kind of going back to analog and stuff.
Yeah.
Drove around a bit. It was cool. I think Mike and Bryce, I think they were taken by like, wow, Detroit is different than kind of what nationally it's broadcast as.
Bryce had to be on cloud nine the whole that was his first road trip with Massey. Like he's been playing with him for a while locally and stuff, but this is the first time we're going on the road to a couple cities and you're going to play, and here he is getting run around town. Thanks again to Rochester Limo for hooking those guys up. Getting to do that, and then getting the ovation and the respect he did at the Hamlin Pub. And I got to be honest with you, man. That, in my opinion, that couldn't have gone any better by selling tickets and not just trying to cram 1,000 people in there and having the fire marshal show up like last time.
Yeah.
It's packed, but it's doable. And those guys could not have sounded any better. In my opinion, they absolutely crushed.
Yeah, it was really good.
Crushed. Africa, when they did Africa, I was blown away. I'm like, okay, here comes the hard part. Here comes the really hard part. Massey absolutely nailed it.
Everyone's anticipating that part.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's, ramping up mentally toward that part.
The first time we had him here.
Holy shit.
Remember the first time we had him here and it was like,
yeah,
he didn't quite get that. He didn't
sick.
Quite get there. Yeah,
Had
exactly.
to bail a little bit.
What did you think? You were out there for the whole thing.
The tour of Motown was amazing. I think I said to Jay, now that I'd been there, I was almost embarrassed that I hadn't been there before. So yes, go check that out if you haven't.
It is kind of embarrassing that I've never been there. I feel you.
Driving around today was great, and the concert was different because this is the first one I've been sober at. I was drunk the other two Massey shows, and they were fun. But I realized that I didn't really.
You don't need alcohol to have a good time.
Once you start drinking, the songs kind of melt, and then pretty soon now I'm talking to people. But when I was sober and I just sat there and enjoyed the concert, and I thought it was great, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was too, and closing with Stairway to Heaven, and
the recorder,
dude. Bryce pulls out this little plastic recorder.
Just Bryce, if we could borrow that, we need a second recorder to do our experiment.
Might have a second recorder already.
Oh, well,
yeah.
All right. All we need is a cup and.
Did he tell
some seed?
Oh yeah, it's upstairs too.
Oh, still have that?
Yeah, it's still in the fridge. It should be fine. It's been preserved. So gross, dude. So gross. Did he tell the story on air about or was it off the air or on the air when Bryce was talking about stopping and picking up that recorder? Like, oh, they've already got a bass player for this song tonight, but well, maybe I could do something with this. And he stopped and picked up a recorder.
Oh, I don't remember.
And he's like, I'd never played it. I hadn't played it since grade school, and so. He's like, I'm backstage before they go on, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do it again, like a recorder, which is just a little flute thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, so I figure out the beginning of the song, and he's like, hey Mike, I don't know, I think I could play this on the recorder if you want. And Massey's like, yeah, okay. And so he does the intro of that, and then he did it again for our show.
Yeah.
And the place went fucking berserk when he finishes playing that, and it's like the look on his face, like, oh my God, I'm a rock star! Oh, I'm a rock star! Place is screaming their heads out. Dude, it was awesome. It was so cool. Yeah, I was really happy for those guys. They were great. They took a lot of pictures with people and signed stuff, and yeah, that was awesome. Thank you to everybody that comes out there. Usually, my fear is always, oh God, what are the monsters? Who's going to get drunk and get into a fight? And
dude,
they
these
just
people are
don't.
really nice people, honestly.
They know how to behave.
Yeah.
They take care of their wait staff. They eat, they drink, they're merry. They hang out together. They support the we couldn't be happier about that.
Yeah, a group of really, really nice people. Appreciate it.
And I had more than one person come up to me and go, man, I know you guys hate doing this where you have to hang out with us and bullshit with us and blah,
Not
blah, blah.
true.
And I'm like, dude, you have no idea how wrong you are. we are all so grateful that you support everything that we put out there. You support it to the fullest. And so, no, don't ever think that Jay, E, or I are bummed to be in a conversation with you guys at a bar like that. It's just not true.
Correct.
I've been to those gigs when nobody gave a fuck and nobody was there ever. For years, I did those gigs, and no one was there, and nobody cared. So now, take that 1 billion times over. So
I did have a listener that came up to me at one time, and he was like bald, and he had like piercings, and maybe even tattoos. Maybe not tattoos on his face, but like he was like kind of a punk rocker or hard kind of. And dude, I know that a lot of people don't like me, and how he came up to me was kind of like he kind of had a look on his face, and it was kind of like
thought you were gonna get cracked.
I swear
You're
to God,
worried
like
for the
dude,
grill.
I was like, is this guy gonna kill me or something?
Yeah.
And then he goes, dude, I haven't been able to make it out to a gig before, but I just wanted to like. And then he's just like, I just want to say the show's awesome or this or that. But I swear, dude, and he'll know. I think he'll know who he is. But
Jesus is cowering.
I'm like,
He's like, "Ah,
this is it. This guy's gonna kill me. This guy's gonna kill me.
well, it was a lot of fun, man. Thanks to everybody that came out. Thanks to the pub and Mike and Bryce and all of you that made it out there. Should we take a quick break, Jay?
if you want.
I was going to take a quick nap, 10 minutes, and then Lana Del Rey in the news over the weekend.
The FISA memo.
Yes. Yeah. We can talk about that. There's a few things going on, so we'll get to that and more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com.
Hey, Mike, insurance, we all need it, but most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who provides it. Well, let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services change all that. Brent has over 29 years in the business, offers all types of insurance coverage, auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. Call him, 734-455-1900 for a free, no-obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900 and ask for Brent Wasik at Wasik Insurance.
It was too bad we didn't see the Wasiks out there at the Massey show.
The Wasiks!
I know something came up. I know they had tickets and were planning to go and then had to
bail
last minute. Someone got their tickets, but still, it would have been nice to see them. While we were over the weekend, we got the release of the memo.
Yes, the long-awaited FISA memo, right?
Yes, and I don't know what to believe now because depending on which station I'm watching, it's either the most damning thing in the history of politics or the biggest joke in the history of politics.
Isn't that something?
It's incredible. It's infuriating is what it is, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of asked myself, like, why was this not as stunning as it was supposed to be?
Yeah.
And I think in large part because the whole premise of it leaked prior.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to have to do with the
yeah.
dossier, and you knew it was going to be that the FISA warrant relied solely on the dossier to go ahead and surveil an American, in this case Carter Page.
Right.
So you kind of like knew it, and then you just read it, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it shouldn't be shocking or concerning, but it just didn't have that stun factor.
Yeah.
Because of that, and I think that was very, very smart by the Democrats to leak what they could about that and get that out so that it wasn't so shocking. Also, I think, we're in this environment where we're constantly slinging arrows at each other and we're desensitized to really horrible shit going on.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal when you put it in context of everything else going on.
Yeah, in a different environment, 20 years ago, maybe, like, holy shit, man, are you kidding me? But it's just like, everybody's fucking everybody. Well, and then third, it's Carter Page. And it's not like it was Michael Flynn, which led to a conviction. It's Carter Page, who a lot of people don't know who he is. Yeah. And he's not that known a figure, and it didn't, like I say, it's not the basis for a conviction yet in terms of him.
But wasn't the point of it to be able to spy on Trump's camp? That's the disturbing part.
Yeah.
Now, if these facts are wrong, then I want to know that. But if
I don't think those
not,
facts are wrong because Comey's tweet, James Comey, former FBI director's tweet that came out of it was, "That's it?" ? And then he derided the Republicans for being McCarthyist or something.
Right.
So he didn't challenge the factual premise of it. Just said, "That's it." And that alone should concern you that a guy goes, "That's it."
See, a lawyer picks up on that. Like, you're avoiding the point. You didn't go, point one, this is a lie because. Point two, this is a lie because. This is wrong because.
He could have tweeted, "Look, there are so many factual errors in this. You will be stunned to know that, Americans. Just wait." That would have been like, "Oh, wow." Now he's throwing shade on the thing. But to just go, "That's it? What?
That's it?
What?
That's the big deal
You just used opposition paid-for document with little factual verification to serve as evidence supporting a warrant to surveil an American? That's it?
Big deal. What's the problem?" Yeah. When you break it down to its simplest facts, and it's like, the people that thought Trump will never win, but just in case, let's see what we can get.
The insurance policy that is referenced in the Lisa Page / Peter Stroke text.
Yes,
that's the insurance policy.
So let's get this. We use this as an excuse. Even though we know this is a bullshit dossier, we know that, but we're not going to act like we know that. We're going to run this up to a judge. I guess these FISA warrants are given out like nothing, and reissued 3 or 4 times, and it was used for a very specific reason.
Hold on, before you move on, the FISA warrant being given out like nothing. That should concern everybody, right? That there's not a deeper process where the judge's staff digs into the facts, but rather, I mean, the process is that all judges, when they're presented with affiants from the DOJ, those people are swearing to the content of this stuff, and they have to trust them because they've got so much work on their plate. They can't go, "Oh wait, this dossier. Well, let me do my own research and figure out whether this is credible or not." No, they've got a Department of Justice official, an officer of the court, standing before them, swearing to the
credibility
of this stuff. So they go, okay, here's your warrant. There's probable cause to look into this, and they go with it.
And for the Democrats, they assumed Hillary was going to win, and so this won't matter. This will never come up because we'll be in charge. We'll have our own people. None of this will matter. Well, when she lost, all of a sudden that became an issue to be looked at, and I think that's really troubling. The idea that opposition research paid for, to get dirt on your opponent can then be run up our legal system and used. I mean, that's scary.
That's it in a nutshell. That's the crux of the issue.
Yes.
And everybody's been saying it, like you say, depending on what side you're on, you are hearing from the Republicans hammering that point. It doesn't matter, if this is a Republican in the office or Democrat, everybody should be concerned with that. And that really is, I think, a valid point.
Yeah. The other thing that you should pick up on that you should find terribly disturbing, because I watched a lot of CNN knowing that they were going to have a problem, and I watched for a few days before it was released, and the amount of people they had on and anchors, journalists that were demanding that this not be released, Think about that for a second. Just think for a second. You have journalists in your mainstream media arguing that secret documents should. Since when? Those
lies on shit, man.
Well, it's bad for the institution. Since when do they give a shit about the institution?
It's incredible, isn't it? And they didn't know what was. It wasn't as if these media members were like, "Look, I've seen this, and I know that this would be damaging." No, they're just going by what politicians are leaking.
Well, this speaks ill of the whole system and the FBI and the Department of Justice. Well, if there's a problem at the top of the FBI and the Department of Justice, you would hope that on-the-ground reporters for your national news outlets would be digging like a motherfucker into that.
Yeah.
Find out exactly what it is. Be damned with what it does to the system. Get to the facts. Get to the bottom. It's like, didn't you see that movie? What was it? The WAPO or whatever?
Pentagon Papers?
It was.
The Post.
Yeah, and you think about those guys or
those
Watergate.
Guys wanted every piece of paper they could get their hands on.
Anything they could get, and scrapped and were shit on, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Get to the point. Get to the bottom of this. Find out what the truth is. And to have your media trying to like push this aside for because I'm on the right or the left, that's terrible.
It's damning, man.
It's damning. It says a lot, man.
You know who I kind of like more coming out of this, and everybody's going to groan because he's a Republican, but Trey Gowdy.
Oh, I love Trey Gowdy. He's leaving.
Yes, he's partisan, but to me, he seemed to present kind of a sober evaluation of this. And he is leaving, as you said, and he was asked why he's leaving Congress. He's the South Carolina House of Representative. And his response is telling. I mean, he said something like, I see multiple sides of issues.
Yeah.
And the ends and winning on an issue do not always justify the means. I like to seek truth and fairness.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening in Congress. You are on one side or the other, and you fight to the death. And the ends justify the means. Doesn't matter how you get there. And he's just like, I'm not cool with that.
And he said, I can do more good for the country out on my own.
Yeah, he's a federal prosecutor before.
Yeah.
You can tell just the way he analyzes stuff.
Dude,
smart dude.
You want to go down the rabbit hole? Go Bing and watch a video of Trey Gowdy.
Now, when you Bing him, you can either Bing Trey Gowdy or his real name. Do you know what his real name is?
Oh, no. Don't tell me Trey Gowdy's not his real name.
No.
What's his real name?
Harold Watson Gowdy III.
What?
Trey is from the third. Harold Watson Gowdy!
What? Oh, man, I like Trey Gowdy.
This guy's got kind of a pimp name, Trey Gowdy. You don't know?
Yeah. With that bad haircut, too.
Oh, he's a grotesquely gross human being. But
what the day I fell in love with him was when he was talking about Benghazi, and he went and read the riot act to the journalists in the room. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, it was a mic drop moment.
Well, it was just because it centered on just what you described. You should be pursuing the truth.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just picking a side.
Yes. And he just shamed the shit out of them. I mean, he went on a rant for a few minutes, and then I'm out. Boom, mic drop, and walked out of the room. There's a few other ones about the Benghazi stuff that he really goes off on. There's some great video of him. And who's the other one that just left Congress? Another Republican, you'd know. But both of them
Well, him in particular, I mean, he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's not just saying there's problems in Congress and then running for re-election for another 8 years. He's getting the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
It's an awful place to be.
Dude, well, you've said it all along. Like, is there any worse job than being a politician? And, like, forget it. Just forget it. I mean, just the thought of being like, well, this is what my team decided, so now we're all in with it. It's like, oh,
how do I feel about this? How does my team feel?
Yeah, how do we land on this one? I thought we were for that 3 years ago. No,
I just loved his statement, though. I see multiple sides to issues.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you should. You're a human being.
Yeah.
You're a free-thinking human being.
Yeah. It's great.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, our friends at Zott Ford need your help. The hottest sales staff in Oakland County is sick of brooming snow off the 300-plus cars and moving them all to plow. They need to drastically reduce their inventory. So jump your fat, that's with a PH ass, into your broken-down hoopty and head to Holly and get your fresh whip now. Zott will meet or beat any deal, period. Surf their snowy deals and massive inventory at dealsinthed.com.
Normally, Jay, I wouldn't give a shit about Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pick her out of a lineup, you know? If Lana Del Rey walked in right now, I'd be like, who's that?
But for the name of her stalker.
Yes.
It warrants mention.
Some dude, we'll call him Mike Hunt.
Okay.
Yes, folks, Mike Hunt tried to kidnap and stab Lana Del Rey in Florida at a concert.
He's mentioned in most news publications as Michael Hunt.
Michael Sean Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get away from as much of the cunt part of Mike Hunt as we can. But you can't. It's just awesome to me. Anyway, Mike Hunt was arrested a block from the Amway Center and charged with stalking and attempted armed kidnapping. Friday, a tipster reported, yeah, Mike Hunt is putting some weird stuff online, you know, and some cryptic and threatening messages on social media. And so, in the days leading up to this show, Mike Hunt shared a clip from Del Rey's music video in 2012 in which she sings about an ex, like, oh, I love him, I still love him. And Mike Hunt wrote, I love you too. I'm so sorry I did this to us. That was at 2 a.m. he wrote that. She was scheduled to perform at the Amway Center, and less than a 2-hour drive from Mike Hunt's house outside of Tampa. And so on the morning of the concert, Mike Hunt wrote, it's probably my last day on Facebook. I'll see you on the other side. If you really wanted to kidnap Lana Del Rey, would you really be posting stuff? Like, it seems like just a moronic move.
Yeah, you're trying to find reason in a completely moronic psychopath. So
later on that same page, Mike Hunt talked about his plans. I'm going to probably finish out the tour with her. Obviously, Lana knows I'm here. The Queen of England knows I'm here. Vladimir knows I'm here. They all know I'm here.
God, what a loser.
Yeah. Mike Hunt has been in prison 5 times. Crimes ranging from weed possession to armed robbery, that kind of thing. So police started searching for him, and they found him outside the venue at like 9 o'clock at night. He had a 3-inch folding knife with him. If it weren't for that tip, authorities might not have been aware of the threat Mike Hunt posed. They said it's unclear whether Mike Hunt has a lawyer. Not sure, so we'll see. I don't know what kind of trouble you get in for that, though. You know, threatening behavior and...
Oh, Mike Hunt.
Yeah, Mike Hunt, what a problem. You know, all I was thinking was...
There's Mike Hunt.
If you're part of the Hunt family, you know...
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It is...
How out of touch.
I'm trying to think how out of touch you would have to be.
Mother and father Hunt are?
Yes. Like, the Hunt family as a whole. Like, I had a friend who was... he was at a wedding, I think it was. And they're putting out the displays for guests, and they've got these suckers that are, you know, people will do that table display, and here's some suckers, this and that. And he walks in, and he's like, so you've got our names on there, you got our name on there, and he's like, yep. He's like, you realize our last name is Cox, right? So you just put out displays of Cox suckers. And the lady just went, get them off the tables. And they, like, removed them. And so I think if you're part of the Cox family... the Hunt family for sure.
You got to be careful, right?
You just like
it's a filter. You have to filter everything through that.
But I blame the whole lineage. Like you know, when you find out, wow, Mrs. Hunt is pregnant, and you're coming up with baby names, and as soon as someone spits out Michael or Mike, it's just somebody has to jump in and go, you can't call your kid Mike Hunt. You just can't do it.
Some hunt somewhere has to jump in. Uncle, aunt, nephew.
Yes. Jeffrey Hunt needs to step in and go, no, you're not calling him Mike Hunt. And so I was looking at it, and
the Cat family has the same problem.
They certainly do. I wanted to look into the origin of cunt a little bit.
Yeah, how far it goes back, because there's that. It's like, was it just not part of the nomenclature at the time?
Perfectly stated. And it's like, well, the Balls family. If you have a Harold Balls, was Harry Balls a thing in the mid-century?
Boner.
Boner. There you go.
Boner used to be a screw up.
Yes.
Now it's a screw in.
And so I was like, well, I think cunt goes way back, but I don't know. And so I started to dig a little bit into cunt, and so
it's got to go back generations. There's no way Mama and Daddy Hunt did not know of cunt.
Well, cunt's exact origins are unknown because the word is so very old. And as sounds that are common in both European and Indian languages, there's evidence it was used throughout ancient East and through the ancient East and West.
You cunt!
The word cunt was found in writings of Hotep, an Egyptian vizier, who lived in the 25th century BC.
So there's actually a hieroglyphic of a cunt.
Of a cunt.
Yeah, and you can picture it. Kind of a mouth-like structure with a little bean
for
at
sure.
the top.
And I'm telling you, by the end of this discussion here, we're going to be using cunt a lot. Okay? So in this 25th century BC, when cunt was used, it referred to women and appears to have been a term of respect.
Oh, okay.
The process of cunt's pejoration?
Sure.
Pejorative. I want to say pejorative, but they've got shun at the end of it. Going from good or neutral to bad is tied to ancient human history. About 10,000 years ago in the Stone Age, people wandered. They lived in societies where men and women had multiple sex partners. Female sexuality was not problematic, but women with sexual power got a bad reputation when ancient nomadic societies stopped moving, began grabbing some land, settling down, having kids, all that stuff.
You cunt!
Men then needed to know who their children were, which meant keeping women monogamous was a must. The end of women's sexual liberation tarnished the reputation of female sexuality, but the word cunt was a simple descriptor for a long time after that, and it can be heard in Old Norse and Germanic tales. In medieval England, the word cunt wasn't totally taboo. First appeared in the Oxford English Dictionary in 1230.
You cunt!
1230. The Hunts have no excuses.
They had clear notice.
Yes. Here's where we're going to start using the word a lot, okay? Today, many feminists argue that cunt must be revived.
You cunt!
One reason is simply because it's a better descriptor for female genitalia than vagina. We'll call that vagine from now on.
Okay.
It's such a gross word.
Didn't know what you were talking about there for a second.
The word vagine has Latin origins and refers to a sword's sheath. So basically, it's a cock holder.
It makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
The female sex organ in this linguistic rendition is simply a holster for the panus.
Yeah.
That's all vagine means. And I would say it's also you could say it's not just a sheath for the panus, also a chute. If you wanted to talk about a baby, you know what I mean?
Dual purpose.
Yeah, sheath, chute, whatever. Technically, vagine only refers only to the sexual passage of the female from the vulva to the uterus. Cunt, however, describes the whole shebang.
It's more inclusive.
External and internal, including labia, vulva, pudendum, vagine, and clitoris.
Sweet.
Yes.
You cunt!
To claim the power of their sex, women must take back the word that best describes their sex organ. Not just not just a cock holster. No, it's a cunt. It's the whole thing. I started telling Beth that last night. I was like, I'd really love to get some cunt tonight before you leave.
Does it include the mons pubis?
I think it's the whole shebang. They said
Sweet.
whole shebang.
Okay.
And Beth was
everything that you could just palm.
Everything, yeah.
Just whatever.
Anything you can fit in your hand.
Reach down there, gentlemen. grab him by the pussy. When you grab him by the everything that's in your hand.
It's a cunt.
Yeah.
And as a show of respect, I started talking to Beth about her cunt last night.
Respectful.
And it was just like, I could see her welling up. You know what I mean? It was just like, wow, he's
He's
liberated.
Woke. My God.
I've got a woke bae. I had no idea I had such a woke bae.
You cunt!
I even apologized a little bit. Like, I've called it a vagine for so long. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I wasn't woke then. The word, let's see. The word is only an insult if you think strong women with sexual desire are a bad thing.
Oh, my gosh.
Evidence that strong young women are reclaiming the word includes Azealia Banks. And they talk about one of her videos where she's talking about her cunt getting eaten, which is respectful, I guess, somehow.
You cunt!
And she's like, yeah, it's funny. I didn't know that it was offensive. I feel like cunt means so feminine. I was like, yeah, I agree. I agree. But the Hunt family has no excuse.
No excuse,
None.
man.
None.
You had millennia to decide this.
You cunt!
Oh, man. God, what else is going on here? We got Uma Thurman. Did you see her thing over the weekend?
Yeah, she came out pretty strong against Harbinger Weinstein.
Yeah,
finally.
Did she?
Well, that was the thing, right? I mean, she spoke out initially when the whole thing broke, when Rose McGowan was so brave to come forward with that.
Sure.
Uma spoke out and was like angry.
Yeah.
I'm too angry to talk.
I can't talk about
and so
I'm
you're
so
like,
angry.
oh shit, she experienced hell with this guy,
And
right?
you knew through her early Miramax connection, which was Harbinger and Quentin Tarantino with the Kill Bills, the Pulp Fiction. Those were massive movies, and she was a huge part of them.
Yeah, and he assaulted her, apparently, allegedly, according to her. We both obviously thought it would be more descriptive or more chronic than, I guess, one or two incidents. But not saying, that doesn't count. But
no, but the way she was so angry, like 25, 30 years after the fact, to be like shaking angry, you would have thought, he came in her plant like he did to that other person, or raped her,
or came onto her bubble.
Oh God, I forgot about the bubble cum. Yeah,
how does a bubble hold that?
I think it was more foam.
I can't get over that.
I know. I think you're thinking of an individual bubble.
I am. She said bubble,
and it would slide right off. You know that it would slide right off. I think there was some foam issue there.
Okay,
that's my guess. So I got to be honest with you. I was a little disappointed in Uma Thurman's thing because she's talking about the one incident where. They had a relationship going where, working relationship. It was common for her to go to his hotel, like we've said before, not like a hotel room, at the Days Inn. You're talking about a massive floor suite. And he apparently came onto her gross and tried to hold her down or something and kiss her.
Pushed her down.
But it sounds like nothing. She was able to weasel out of it and then ran out of there. And the next morning, he sent someone to apologize and sent her a bunch of flowers or some shit.
Yeah, roses with a note that said something to the effect of, you have good judgment.
Yes, exactly. And that was the only physical encounter I think that she mentions in the New York Times interview.
That, right, like you say, that she was raped or penetrated in any way. Now, awful experience, I'm sure, but...
Sure. And, that would go to trust. I mean, if you're working, and the thought that Harvey Weinstein would be hooking up with, one of the hottest movie stars on the planet at the time, in those early days. But there's really no more to it. And then she mentions at the end of the article about her comment about being angry. And it wasn't angry at Harvey. It was angry at herself for not saying something earlier and then being able to protect other girls who would have then gone up to the hotel room. So she's hearing all these stories about women being raped and feels like, oh my God, I could have maybe done something, said something earlier. Instead, I was quiet and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But she wasn't forcibly raped by this guy. And Harvey, for his part, is like, I am blown away by these allegations. Blown away. And his lawyer is pointing to dozens of pictures of them like arm in arm, best friends for years at award shows and all this stuff. Like, what the fuck was this about? I thought this was a friend and a coworker, and I think her work is brilliant. Blah blah blah. Not that you can put much stock in Harbinger Weinstein's word.
Well, that, and from Uma's point of view, maybe that was the case, that she forgave and they then went on to have this sort of cordial relationship. But it's like, now you have context to the thing. Now you know this guy was stalking and preying on these other women, and it's like, holy shit, man.
Good point.
He tried to push me down and rape me that day,
Yeah.
And then she brings in Quentin Tarantino from the standpoint of, and this was known, I think, that he had set her up in a tricky stunt situation that ended up in some pretty serious injuries.
Yeah, it was I think it was a Carmen Gia, one of these convertibles, and I don't remember the scene. I guess it was from a Kill Bill 1 or 2 scene, and he wants her to drive down like a dirt road. hit 40 miles an hour, and there's a couple turns. And she's like, no, I don't feel like the car's safe. Like, the seat's not really bolted down right. And they've got cameras mounted and all that. He's trying to get a specific shot. And she acknowledges that no director wants to be told no. When they've got an idea in their mind, that's the way it's to be done. And so they end up fighting about it, and she finally agrees to do it. And, of course, she's a shit driver. Hits 40 miles an hour and then, like
spins out.
Spins out and hits a tree.
Yeah.
And bangs her head, and she gets a concussion and knee issue. Yeah. And so they take her to the hospital, and she ends up fighting with him, with Quentin. You know, you tried to kill me, and he takes offense at that, and blah, blah, blah. People are killing him. And so I will never see one of his movies again. Piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Hate him for that.
Jesus, you disagree?
For that?
I know.
I mean, it's a movie, and that's what that's what the director wanted out of a scene. I'm not saying that means if a director wanted, knew you were going to get hurt, that means it's okay. But it's not. I don't know.
I'm kind of torn on this one a little bit.
It's not like he's asking her to jump off a building, He's
yeah.
like, yeah, hit 40 and then go around that curve. I mean,
and it's easy.
They probably showed her, right? They probably had somebody else jump in and show her like how it was going to go.
Right, I'm sure he didn't just get in the car and say, okay, yeah, just do it and don't worry.
Floor it and then turn these two corners. I don't know.
It sounds like
reasonable.
She was being a baby in her trailer, and he was getting more and more mad because every minute you're not filming is costing tons of money. You've got all this crew that's being paid. And so Quentin is getting livid.
And I'm not trying to say, I know this might sound bad, I don't know, but I just don't feel like this is one of those things that you would have with a guy actor.
Well, it's another example of, a guy forcing a woman to do something. So it fits,
I
guess fits the problem here.
You're right. I would say that I don't think it has anything to do with her being a woman. I think it has to do with a artistic visionary trying to get a shot.
I think that's probably the case.
He would do the same whether it was John Travolta or Uma Thurman. It happened to be Uma Thurman, and it ended poorly, and so it's easy to look back and hashtag me too.
Hey, Quentin, man. I'm not doing it.
Very good, John. This is a great Travolta. It's perfect. Hey, Mitch, did you hear his Travolta? It was perfect.
Hey, Mitch, man. No, I suspect you're right.
So to throw those two in with that, it was like, we have like full-on rape stories from other girls, and like he like laid on top of you and you wiggled out of there, and then that was the end of it, and then Quentin made you do a scene that turned out poorly.
I don't know how that's involved in it. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that doesn't mean she could complain about it, but I don't know how that's involved in Me Too or Harbinger.
I guess was she married to at the time Ethan Hawke?
Probably.
And so I guess Ethan Hawke was, in Kentucky or something, and then flew to wherever this was once he got word that she was in the hospital and blah, blah, blah. And he got in Quentin's face at the time and was like, dude, this is bullshit. She, she's a great actress. She's not a fucking stunt car driver. Why would you risk blah, blah, blah? And then Quentin apologizes, like, look, man, I'm sorry. I would never try to hurt her. And people are like, oh, sure. As soon as the man gets there and gets in his face, now he's willing to apologize. So, I get it. It's pile-on time. It's pile-on time. And believe me, I'm no champion for Quentin Tarantino. He drives me nuts, too, with his political bullshit and his statements and whatever. But, yeah, I guess. Whatever. Should we get to some email, Jay?
Sure.
I know we've got a lot of it piling up.
We do, and it is. And forgive me, stop me if one or two of these have been read, because what's happening is I'm having issues still with the printer, and so I'm flagging stuff. I'm trying to go back to it. Sometimes I go back to it, pull it up, but don't read it on the show, and so I bring it back. So
this is where we need
this could be
you.
embarrassing. This could be embarrassing.
Jesus remembers.
All right, Ryan writes in, Scott Weiland, Scott Hall, and Scotty McGregor. I'm the one that Justin referenced in poem number 989 that did stand-up on the show on WRIF. I was laughing as you read the email about that time I had never been so nervous and couldn't even do my material from memory. So this is the guy who got called out for doing Sam Bernstein material.
So this was when E first did stand up in studio on our show. We decided to have people. Oh, you think you're funnier than E? you get 5 minutes, and we would pick someone. I don't remember exactly how. They'd send in a tape or something. We'd pick someone. They would come in, and then Friday morning, E would do 5 minutes, and this guy would do 5 minutes, and people would vote who was funnier.
Yeah, and this is one of those guys, and he was called out in number 989 by another TDC listener who said, "I remember this guy. He got shut down when he tried to go Bernstein." Ryan says, "I ended up having to read every single word and just steamrolled punchlines because I was so nervous. I definitely had a longer, more involved Bernstein joke, and luckily was getting good laughs. I had maybe one more punchline before I was moving on to something else when Mike, while laughing, said, 'Next page in your notebook, please.' I had the notebook right up near my face. So when I went to the next page, it made tons of noise. I stumbled into my next joke, and that was the end. I took a break from comedy to join a nerdy punk rock band. I'd always wanted to play music on stage as well, but I'm starting to do stand-up again, and I'm going to do my first one where living is a vacation. Sans Bernstein material. You guys are the best, and definitely tricked someone. I definitely tricked someone else into listening to you guys. Also, the call to the religious show was priceless. Would love to hear more. Nana member Ryan.
Oh.
Bonnie.
I think Bonnie's asleep, guys. That one.
Wake up, Bonnie.
Bonnie, the house is on fire.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord. Dane writes in, "Hello, podcast heroes.
I need more Scotty McGregor."
As we can recall in poem number 990, both Big E and J talked about the pineapple and its importance in Southern culture. It's big in South Carolina, like Big E said, but where I am in North Carolina, it means something completely different. In North Carolina, if one has a pineapple door knocker adorned on their front door, typically means that the homeowners are swingers. I know of a specific swinging pack that moved from Wilmington to Fayetteville, and they all live together in the same neighborhood. Sure enough, they all have pineapple door knockers. Strange practice for sure, but rumor has it the pack moved from Wilmington to Fayetteville because swinging is quite common with military families. But in South Carolina, like Jay read, the pineapple typically means the person is hospitable. Y'all be good now, you hear? Goodbye, B.U.I. Dane.
Never heard that.
Your best and new favorite North Carolinian listener. Oh,
thank you.
Dane.
Wait a minute, what made him that?
You know, he's proclaiming
Just that
it.
he sent an email in?
Proclamations. E.
Okay.
Sometimes they hold. Let's see. Okay. This is from another anonymous. Dearest hosts, I'm in need. I've been with my lady for going on 2 years, and she's decided she wants to change her name legally. The complication? She wants to change her last name to my last name. Should I let her?
Wait, they're not married?
Because he just saying you're getting married?
Been going with my lady for 2 years. She's decided she wants to change her name legally to this guy's last name.
That's a hint.
That's
I want to
fucking
get
weird.
married.
That's weird. Right? Now, I've always wondered about this. When you go in there and you have to get approval from the judge to do this, and you're like, well, I want to be called Luke Skywalker because I think it's a great name and it's heroic.
Sure.
And the judge goes, okay, and he signs the order.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't this be one where the judge would be like, why do you want to have his last name? Like, what are like doesn't it sound like there could be shenanigans behind that without being legally married? You, girlfriend.
That's a great point, man.
But why would she? I don't think she would even say that. She would just go in and go, "Yep, I want to go from Smith to Jones," and not even reference him.
Yeah, I suppose.
What I mean?
Why do you want to change it from Smith? You know, well, I can't stand my
Smith.
family.
Yeah, I hate my family. I'm going with
It's
Jones.
so common. Smith is so common. I've always liked Jones.
I'd rather go more obscure, so I'm going with Jones.
Yeah, if I was a judge, dude, I'd have some fun.
I wonder how much does go into
shit.
that. Like, you're right. Do they look into why that name? They don't just.
But this is
that's weird as shit.
Right? Wouldn't this be one where you're like, why do you want to go to your
more information about their
boyfriend's?
relationship, dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes, is it weird? I need to know. Like, are they living together? Is it?
Yeah, what are you running
like
from?
A roundabout way to ask to get married. Like, you get married, you get his name. Like, what? Maybe she feels like 2 years of being. Unless this is about, I want to be able to cash use his checkbook.
That's what I'm saying. There just seems to be some malfeasance at the core.
I mean, do you know what his last name is? I mean, is it Kick-Ass?
It doesn't say.
Does he have a last name like Skywalker or something
It's
dope?
literally aanon@gmail.
We need more.
Whatever.
Because if his name sucks, then I'm thinking shenanigans, tomfoolery, wool is being pulled. If he's got a badass name,
Yeah, like Stone.
Hell yeah.
Rock.
If she's trying to go from Galooly to Rock or Stone.
I get it. Totally get it.
Totally get it. Right on. We need to know what his badass last name is.
Chris writes in, totally remember the Sam Bernstein incident as well. The comic was definitely cut off as soon as he mentioned the blind lawyer. I also still remember that to this day when I see their commercials. Anyway, thanks for the great shows lately. By B-U-I Chris.
Lately?
Wow, yeah, that was...
That's why I read this email. Thanks for the great shows
Lately?
What's that?
Were we doing
Well, I guess we've been doing
shows?
good.
Chris has been dissatisfied at times.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to know more, Chris.
Yeah.
Lately.
When
Just
did
that
we-
one little word.
Why would he
Lately.
put that in there?
Thanks for the great shows.
Lately. Yeah, that was a real passive-aggressive way of saying you guys sucked a week ago.
You're right about that.
I want to know what it
Dead
was
on.
that changed. What changed that all of a sudden we got good lately?
Thanks for the great shows. Lately.
Did he ... lately?
No, it was just there. He didn't
Comma
even
lately?
he didn't even comma. He just
Wow.
thanks for the great shows
That's
lately.
bold. That's
Thanks for the great
bold.
shows lately.
Huh.
Frank writes in, oversized Sharpie cult leader and cum tosser. I'll take oversized Sharpie.
I'll take cult leader.
Yeah. Thank you for another great show with Mike Massey. The celebration of Christina's 65th birthday was a nice touch. Yeah, listener had a 65th birthday there. We were happy to help celebrate that. The main reason for this email is regarding Big E. I think he's showing some signs that he's growing and maturing. That's problematic in many ways, by the way.
I agree.
I hope to slow that down in the near future.
I don't agree with that at all.
However, says Frank, he and I were both walking into the bathroom after we finished. Gross. He says, I don't normally wash my hands after I use the bathroom, but I'm doing it tonight for the listeners.
He knew he was shaking a lot of hands.
God damn it, E, says Frank. Why would you make such a declaration to people? Just shows he still has more maturing to do. Good day, sir. I said good day.
I mainly did it because not to like give them a show or anything, but I just think that stuff is funny to me. The notion I would tell somebody in the bathroom that I also went into the bathroom one other time that evening at one point, and a listener walked in and I said I told him I was using the stall because I didn't want everyone to be staring at my celebrity penis. So.
I got to give E credit. He stayed sober, and he stayed by that door. And if you tried to get in there, just like walking in off the street, E was not having
Just
it.
cracking the whip?
Confrontational E. E was like, private event out.
Really?
Doors open to the public again at 10 p.m. Now get the heck out of here.
I was kind of like speaking for like the restaurant at some point. Like I literally was having this. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a private event.
Are you here for the concert? No, then get the hell out of here.
We'll be open
Fuck
back
you,
up
dude.
at 10.
Yeah, he was tossing people on their ass.
Going back to my hosting days. So
Yeah, good job, E. Well, here's an image, one of the many that was provided from that evening. I think it shows all of us come in various sizes and
Can I
shapes.
share this over now? Or?
Sure, go ahead and share that over.
Boy.
Sizes, shapes. I mean, we have just a bear of a man, a wisp of a man, and then a beanpole of a man.
What is going on in that picture?
It's so funny, dude. I saw this. This is one of those ones I saw on Facebook, and I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
It almost looks fake.
I know.
Like,
So I'm saying is,
Who is that poops? Look at it, poops in the middle.
we all come in different shapes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, Jesus, drop it.
Okay, 1 second here. Okay.
Let's see. Howard the Walmart greeter writes in, lawyer, lazy, and loser. I'll take the lawyer.
I'll take lazy, I guess.
Yeah. Howard the Walmart greeter writing in from the Massey event with a grievance that has found me. No timer needed. My issue is with Big Knee. Upon greeting me and Mrs. Walmart greeter, he promptly complained that we caused him to get in an accident. Okay, so this harkens back to Big E coming back to Zatford, right, to meet Howard.
I stayed.
Because Howard was nice enough to drive from fucking BFE
Right.
to Holly to buy a Ford because he wanted to support the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, you're
brother.
right. I stayed.
To everybody
actually,
who does that, thank you.
Of course.
And so Big E stuck around, I guess,
an extra
to meet
hour
him.
or
Yeah,
something,
and then he
or-
was leaving and he crashed.
Yeah, got into a wreck. That guy was so mad at E, too, the guy that hit him.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
he was so
think
pissed at
Howard
E.
had to talk the guy off
He
the
wanted to
ledge.
be fired. Although, you know what? Looking back in that, though, I ended up not getting a ticket because the cop did not show up at my thing. So I'm telling you, though, I think this is an example of where if you're a nut, it will hurt you. Because that dude, I mean, granted, it was a mistake, but that dude was livid
Off
and
the
like
reservation.
yelling
Right? Yeah.
and shit. And I told the cop, I was talking.
Who gets like that with a fender bender? Honestly, I've just never understood it.
And I was telling the cop, and I said, I understand. I know it's my fault. This was my fault. But, dude, I felt like he was going fast. I felt like he had time to. No, and I was just.
So it wasn't your fault.
No, but I was just saying, I don't know if there's any leeway or what if that helps at all. I don't know. I'm just trying to do what I can. I understand, but I was calm with the cop is my point, and this guy was yelling.
It's very wise of you.
And I always have assumed that was the reason that cop gave me a little break.
Good. Also, so he complained that we caused him to get in an accident. He refused a shot of Crown Royal.
Oh yeah.
Don't do shots.
He refused a free beer. Oof. Do you do beers?
Yeah.
And he refused to sign my Christmas poster. For the record, he still owes me dinner from the Kickstart campaign.
Oh, wow.
How do you rule? Bonafide.
Bonafide as hell. Why wouldn't you sign his Christmas poster?
You know what? I guess I remember trying to, like, the show was going, the concert was happening, and I thought I told him I would do it after, and he said, I said I definitely would.
Kind of busy here, Walmart greeter.
Yeah.
But then I told him.
enough. He Pam Anderson to me.
I promised him that I would do it after.
No,
and
I'm not doing that now.
It's not in the email that I went up to him after and said, okay, do you have the poster now? And he said, no, it's in the car already. So I did offer.
Nice, E. Like, how convenient is it? You know, like he's supposed to be carrying around a poster all night.
Dude, he had it unrolled with a pen in his hand.
I know.
Like, for E to
trying
go,
to make it convenient.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that now.
You cocksucker.
Dude,
you did.
He asked me, I took the thing, I signed it right away immediately.
I don't know.
Who wouldn't?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that right now.
That was a serious dick movie.
Yeah, way to go, Pam.
I don't know.
Sean writes in, What? You've never met a kangaroo? I encourage you to visit the Detroit Zoo. You can walk inside the Australia exhibit and be barrier-free with the roos.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, they will hop right past you. Yeah, but we've never held them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Massey, dude, he was holding marsupials.
Yeah.
A variety of them.
Yeah.
He was like feeding them with bottles and stuff.
Yeah, I've never done that. I have been in the exhibit. He's talking about the zoo, though, and when they hoppity hop by, that's pretty cool. But
like they got springs on their feet.
Yep,
they're neat. They're real neat.
I like those guys.
Okay. You know what? I think we're gonna save the rest for tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Yeah, we got a big day today. We got
a long day.
Yeah, so we got to get some sleep because we got shit to do tonight. So thank you, everybody, for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed doing it. We'll be back and do it again tomorrow. We'll see you guys then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.